There is a Dollar Tree within a few miles of where you are right now, and inside that store are products that quietly outperform over $200 worth of garden center supplies. Not similar, not good enough, identical results, sometimes better. And the reason you've never connected these dots before is not because the information isn't available. It's because the gardening industry has spent decades training you to only look for solutions in one place: the garden center. Because once you step outside of that environment, the pricing stops making sense. Completely. And today, we're going to dismantle that system piece by piece. We're walking through 10 items across Dollar Tree, none of them in the garden aisle, that replace hundreds of dollars in tools, systems, and products. And by the end of this, you're not just going to see cheaper options. You're going to understand how to spot overpriced products instantly. And once that happens, you don't go back. Item 1. The first lie you bought into. Every gardener starts the same way. You walk into a garden center, you see rows of planters. Different shapes, different finishes, different prices, and somewhere along the way, you accept a quiet assumption. That container must be worth what it costs. It's not. Because what actually defines a planter is brutally simple. It holds soil. It drains water. It supports roots. That's it. Now go to Dollar Tree, pet aisle. Pick up a treat container, and what you're holding is functionally identical to a $15, $20 planter. Same volume, same durability, same result. The only difference is one has a plant printed on the label, and the other has a dog. Drilled drainage holes, and the illusion disappears. This is where the shift starts. You stop buying objects and start recognizing functions. Item 2. The illusion of smart gardening products. Walk into any garden center today, and you'll see self-watering planters everywhere. They're marketed as innovation, convenience, precision, and they're priced like it. $15, $20, sometimes $30. But here's what they don't tell you. There is no technology inside them. None. It's a container with a gap and water at the bottom. That's it. Now go to the kitchen aisle at Dollar Tree. Find a vegetable storage container with a basket insert. You now have a water reservoir, a separation layer, a passive root access system. Identical. This is where most people pause, because they realize something uncomfortable. They weren't paying for innovation. They were paying for presentation. Item 3. When expensive becomes worse. Glass cloches look premium. They photograph well. They feel like something serious gardeners use. But functionally, they fail. They trap heat. They limit airflow. They break, and they cost $25, $40 each. Now, go to the office aisle. Wire mesh basket. $1, and it solves the actual problem. Protection. Not aesthetics. Not branding. Function. It blocks pests. Lets light through. Prevents overheating. Handles wind. And here's where it gets interesting. It also does 5 other jobs. This is where cheap stops being a compromise and becomes superior design. Item 4. The pattern you start seeing everywhere. Once you see it, you start seeing it everywhere. Take garden hoops. They're just flexible plastic arcs. That's the entire product. Now go to the toy aisle. Hula hoops. Cut once. Same material, same flexibility, same result. But instead of paying $100 for a tunnel system, you build it for under $20. And this is the moment things click. The industry isn't selling complexity, it's selling repackaged simplicity. Item 5. The space problem nobody solves cheaply. Every gardener eventually runs into this problem. You run out of space. And that's when the industry introduces you to vertical systems. Wall planters, pocket gardens, stacking systems. $30, $60, $100 plus. Now go to the storage aisle. Shoe organizer. Hang it, fill it, grow in it. You now have 20 planting spaces for the cost of one plant. And here's the part that flips everything. Each pocket is isolated, which means failure doesn't spread. That's not just cheaper. That's better system design. Item 6. The multi-problem advantage. Most products solve one problem. Cheap items, when used correctly, solve multiple. Pool noodles, cut them, use them as risers. Now your pots drain properly. Wrap them. Now your roots don't overheat. Use them as padding. Now your surfaces are protected. One item, 3 problems solved. And this is where the strategy evolves. You stop asking, what is this for? And start asking, what else can this do? Item 7. Strength, where it actually matters. Garden stakes fail at the worst possible time, when plants are heavy, loaded, vulnerable. Now go to the cleaning aisle. Broom handles, straight, solid, reliable. They hold full tomato loads without bending, and they cost less than the weakest stakes on the market. At this point, you're not finding alternatives anymore. You're finding upgrades. Item 8. The biological shortcut. Dear rabbits. They don't think, they react. Specifically to scent. Now go to the personal care aisle. Strong bar soap, shred it, spread it. And you've created a scent barrier that disrupts their behavior completely. No chemicals, no sprays, no reapplication every week. This is where gardening stops being about products and becomes about understanding systems. Item 9. The illusion of premium design. Lighting feels expensive because it looks expensive, but functionally, it's just light at a certain height. Combine a solar light and a broom handle. You now have adjustable lighting. $2.50. And this is where perception breaks completely, because visually, it's indistinguishable from a $25 system, which means the value was never in the product. It was in the presentation. Item 10. The final illusion. Transparent planters, terrariums, designer containers. They're priced high because they look curated, but the container isn't the value. The composition is. Dollar Tree party containers. Layer them properly. Now they look identical to boutique displays. Because design isn't about cost. It's about arrangement. Bonus, the system killer. This is the one that changes everything. Coconut liner sheets. Because this doesn't replace one product. It replaces categories, drainage layers, soil additives, moisture control, weed suppression. One item, multiple systems. And this is where the entire structure collapses. Because once one item can do 4 jobs, you start questioning everything else you've been buying. Closing, this was never about saving money. That's the surface level benefit. What you actually gained is a new way of seeing. You now understand that most garden products are simple. Most solutions already exist, and most pricing is based on where you're looking, not what you're buying. And once you see that, you don't just garden differently. You think differently. And that's the real advantage.